Yeah, it was going to be a tricky one regardless. He does a really good job of mixing things up, throwing different defenses. His roster is built through his background and who he is. So he's done a really good job of building his team to fit his personality, fit his identity. I thought the start of the game, they just played a lot harder than we did. And this is all part of growing up, all part of the process. First noon game, first Saturday game, so you kind of know and expect what's coming. I wanted to see where we would be, and we weren't there. We weren't to the level. And I thought that was the biggest difference between the first half and the second half, is that our intensity, our energy, our effort was there in the second half, and it was not there at all in the first half. I didn't think it was anything schematic. I didn't think it was anything they were doing, anything we weren't doing. Difference in the game, they were playing harder than us. So I challenged the guys at halftime, and they responded, which is always a good sign. And so I was proud of that. And then we just got to try to get as healthy as we can these next couple of weeks, and get ready for conference play.
Just Jay, how disappointing was that? The things you're saying again, not the shot making those kind of, but how hard you play as a coach. How frustrating, disappointing was that, and what was your message kind of throughout the half? And then if anything you could share, what you said at halftime.
It's disappointing because it's never been the case for us. And it's kind of, you can fall in a trap in an early Saturday game, and then you can also fall in a trap when guys know they have to play heavy minutes, so they feel like they can pace themselves or coast and try to get through the game, which is never the right answer. You know what I mean? And so I felt that it wasn't as disappointing as it was expected for me. You know what I mean? I kind of could see it from shoot around and could see it, last couple of days in practice since Ole Miss game. We barely can practice because we got 6 guys. You got guys in and out of practice, different bumps, different bruises. So all of it is connected. And so my job as the coach is to figure out what's the best way these next couple of weeks to stay sharp, to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and to make sure that we can practice and continue to get better even though we might have 7 guys.
What do you think was the difference in the second half? That in general, and then if you could speak on Timo.
I think the difference was they woke up. I mean, for lack of a better word, they got going. They played to who we are. They played to our identity. Played to our standard. And the kids. As much as we want to be robots, and as much as you want them to be as consistent as possible, human nature always kicks in. And that was the thing I was worried about with this early game, was the human nature. And so just challenging them and then responding to the challenge at halftime is the one thing I will take out of this game.
It's difficult already with like a 7-man rotation. Just like, how much did you feel the absence of Marcus and Dante, especially in that tight first half?
It's huge. Marcus, Dante, and Nome. Nome is getting us good minutes these last 2 games with Georgetown and Ole Miss. And it's putting everybody in different roles, and it's kind of changing our team a little bit. A big part of our team is playing big. We're playing Malik at the 4. But now, because of these rotations and not really having a guard sub, like Malik's got to play some more 5. Timo's out there. Shelton's playing some 4. So it's just changed our team a lot. Where before we kind of had great role definition and there was a lot of clarity. Now with the injuries, it's just not. And those guys, they're a big part of what we do. We built this around having 10, 11 guys who know their roles and know what their expectation is every game, and that way we can kind of attack it. I think it's hard in this day and age for multiple reasons. One is just money-wise, but also team chemistry-wise. It's hard to have 13 guys who think they're going to play. It's impossible.
Coach, can you speak about Trey? The fact that he had a second double-double of the year, he's controlling the game, even when he wasn't shooting the best. From your perspective, what allows him to make winning possessions and have impact on the game without relying on his shot making?
He's just getting better and better and getting more comfortable in the role he's in here. His role he's in here is completely different than the role he was at Michigan. They kind of played through Danny Wolf, and Danny Wolf was kind of point guard. So giving him the opportunity to kind of play and display his IQ and his ability to run the team, I think is giving him a little bit more life and a little bit more confidence. And it's just a different role. We need him in here. There's nothing they did wrong at Michigan. They won the Big Ten and was in the Sweet 16, so they did it exactly right. We asked him to do something different here, and for him to have 11 assists and 1 turnover at any level, any game, any team is huge.
Coach, I was wondering injury-wise if you had an update on just how Marcus, Dante, and Noah were doing.
Yeah, it's kind of day to day. You know, Dante, we kind of expect to be out for a little bit longer than everybody else, but everybody's kind of day to day, and we're just working through it. You know, Noam is something that just kind of happened in the Ole Miss game, and just kind of seeing it. But you know, everybody's got something. True's got something. Malik's got something. Ernest got something. Everybody's got something. It's that part of the year where nobody's 100%. And what I told the guys at halftime and after the game, nobody cares. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares that we only got 7 guys. Nobody cares that you don't feel great or feel 100%. I mean, it's our opportunity to go out there and compete. We got to go out there and compete.
And then the zone defense, I mean, why have you can play more zone as of late? Is that mostly just due to injuries or?
Yeah. The zone was awful today. Just throw that out there and put that out there. The zone was not great today.
What about it just wasn't clicking at first?
It's still like everything is kind of trial and error right now with us, and a lot of it's like I said, we don't have enough really to practice. We're going against scout teams, going against different people. You know, I think it is a good curveball for us because of our size, and also it kind of helps when there is foul trouble. We kind of try to leave guys in a little bit longer with 2 or 3 fouls when we have to. So that's a big part of it too. Ole Miss hadn't seen us play it, so they weren't kind of prepared for it. Southern Miss saw us play it a lot, so they came in with a good attack and a good plan. And we just got to clean it up some. But I do think it can be a good curveball for us, but it was bad today.
Coach, you mentioned earlier about how everybody's adjusting on the fly, learning these different things because of the injuries. You saw Timo and Shelton just come out in the second half and take over in those portions. What's just something that you've seen out of them learning through this process and just how they helped lead the team in the second half?
You know, the biggest thing for Shelton is just getting more and more comfortable, as he should. You know, he's one of our best players on the team. He's also a guy, and most of the guys are this way, but they shouldn't have to look over their shoulder. I'm not a big in and out sub you for mistakes. I grade them off of how hard and how much intensity are they playing with. I could care less if he's 0 for 4, 0 for 3, but if I don't feel like they're playing to the level of the game, that's when I get them out. So I want to give all the guys that confidence. I think Shelton just finally looked to attack. I thought all our guys that start the game were kind of stuck in mud. And then once we got out the second half, I just felt we just settled into the game better. And Timo, just the opportunity, I think, is the biggest thing for him. Timo's a really good player. Been a really good player in Europe and a really good player for us. You know, he is really talented and can do a lot of things. You know, right now we're asking him to be a shooter and kind of space the floor, but he's also a guy that has great feel, great IQ, can play out the ball screen. So we're able to kind of plug and play him in different spots. And so him and Noam have kind of changed us a little bit. And, you know, we were built, when you're built defensively, of course you're going to give up some stuff offensively. It's hard to have great defensive players and offensive players, you know, they wouldn't be here. They'd be in the NBA or something. And so with Timo and Noam both, you may give up a little bit defensively, not a lot because they can really guard, but it gives you something more offensively with being able to stretch the court. So it just adds to our versatility.
Coach, got time for a couple more. Speaking in general about your coaching philosophy, we talked last week about how you use analytics in the offensive end.
Yep.
I'm curious defensively, is there a usage for analytics as well? And if so, how do you go about that?
I mean, the same thing offensively, it goes hand in hand with defensively. So the things that make teams really good offensively is the things you want to take away defensively, and that's what the analytics are based off of. Like, anytime the ball gets in the paint, you give up, so the quality of shots and the points per chance are so much higher when the ball is in the paint, whether it's at the rim or going out for a 3. And the same thing with the shot clock. So we practice transition defense every day, which is shock you, but it's not common. In college programs, it's not common in basketball because so much other stuff. But it's just because the highest percentage points are always in the first 7 seconds of the shot clock. So if we can score in the first 7 seconds, we call it the red zone. We can, and we want to eliminate teams being able to score in the first 7 seconds defensively, because we know the longer you get in the shot clock, the lower the quality of the shot. So it's just kind of, it works hand in hand with what we teach and what we preach offensively, and then it also goes on what we want to take away.
Coach, question on Timo.
Yeah.
It feels like you mentioned his traits, it feels like he has a lot of offensive potential to unlock.
Yeah.
what is your vision for him in your offense? And can he be someone you trust more for playmaking situations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the difference right now with the way the team is built, usually Timo plays a perimeter position for us. Like if we're completely healthy,
Yep.
he's kind of, him and Shelton kind of play that wing. And he's really good in pick and roll, really good off dribble handoffs. Now his role has changed because of the injuries. So now we're using him more as a four-man, where he's out there slipping out of ball screens, kind of create confusion because people guard him different than they do everybody else. And so we have to use all of his traits, you know what I mean? So right now his trait that helps us the most is the shooting and the creating the confusion. But early in the year when he would play and didn't play much, and now he's earned and gathered some more minutes. He will play in the perimeter. We'll put him in ball screens. He'll come off dribble handoffs, zoom actions. So it's just what the team needs and what his role is right now in this moment of the season, why he's playing that way.
Chris, you're up.
Yeah, just Malik with the foul trouble, but you played him with 2 fouls in the first half, and I know you subbing him in and out all the way throughout. If you could explain that, your philosophy, and he picks up his third early in the second half, just tonight from him.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be a thing for us until we get healthy. It's trying to find those guys and kind of getting them in and out when we can, offense, defense, around media timeouts to kind of extend it. And he's our leading scorer. He's our best player. And it's going to be hard to really good without your leading scorer and best player out there. So, you know, with us already being low on numbers, the game was tight in the first half and not wanting it to feel like it was getting away from us or getting out of rhythm, so I had to throw him out there when we can. And I'm not afraid to play guys with 2 fouls in the first half. You just have to be smart when you do it. But anybody, especially at that big position, especially at that 4 position, just changes us if he gets in foul trouble and is not a part of the game. So I got to keep him a part of the game as much as possible. But it's just more going off field and what the other team does, who are the people attacking is. Like Weeks for them is one of their leading scorers. He's also their fourth, so having Malik out there on him put us in a tricky situation.
And then just last thing, this week before the next game, as you talk about getting guys healthy, what's it kind of look like for you, or how do you?
Yeah, we'll be off tomorrow. Then we'll have kind of what I call like an install day on Monday. It'll just be kind of mental prep. We got to kind of clean up and talk about some offensive, defensive stuff, add some stuff. And then Tuesday we'll practice. Wednesday we'll be off. Thursday we'll practice. We'll start our 2-day prep. Thursday, Friday, and then we'll get ready Saturday. Who we play?
ULM.
ULM. You know, so we'll get ready at noon again.
Yep.
Oh boy. So we'll get ready for that, and hopefully we can learn from this game being at noon to the next game.
Good. All right, cool. For either one of you, just coming on that second half, just what was the coach's message on just getting into your offensive stride the way that you did?
I think we just weren't playing hard enough. They were playing with a chip on their shoulder coming into this game, but we didn't have any sense of urgency in that first half. And that was his main message, is pick up our urgency and play harder. We weren't really worried about the offensive side. We just worried about defensive rebounding.
Timo says your three-pointers seem to give the team a boost. What did you think about what you're able to provide? And also, is there any story behind number 88, which is a bit unusual number for a basketball player?
I mean, shooting's my role in the team, so that's what I'm going to do, try to do, if that's what's asked of me. And the number, I was little, I got the number 88, I don't know. There's not really a story. I just got it as my first number and just kept it.
And a follow-up on your shooting, when teams see that you made 4, I think the whole rest of the team only made 3, and they see that and they're going to start to close out harder on you, are you working on it? Do you have more in the bag in terms of attacking the rim when that happens?
Yeah, it's an everyday process. If they close out hard, you have to be able to make the play for others, and I hope I can get there.
Sheldon, it seems like 3 steals and a block. It seems like your defensive playmaking is really starting to pop as of late. Just is that area kind of slowing down for you on the defensive end of the floor, just being able to make those plays defensively?
Yeah, Coach EP tells me just focus on defense, and offense is going to come. I feel like earlier on I was focused on more offense, not really focused on the defense side. So just honing in on that just makes the game easier for me, I would say.
Does the offense come, I guess, smoother, more natural to you when you're just kind of more so focused on the defensive end?
I think offense just flows when I'm just focused on defense. I'm just gonna I'm gonna take what they give me on offense and just impose my will on defense.
Speaking of offense, what's one area you feel offensively that this team needs to improve on?
I feel like we're good at attacking gaps. I feel like we got to keep making the right play for each other. Sometimes we shoot it when the guy's open in the corner. So just playmaking for each other is what we're focusing on. Really.
Shelton, a lot of veterans on this team, but the two guys up here today are freshmen. What do you take any sense of pride in this class and what you guys have been able to produce?
I feel like anybody can step up on this team. We have a lot of pieces, especially now with 7 guys. We're kind of banged up, so everyone has to step up, play a different role. And I think me, Timo, all the guys just did that tonight, and it really showed.
Shelton, you're such an efficient scorer inside, but what do you think the next step is for you to take to become like as efficient of a 3-point scorer as Timo is?
Just keep working. Everyday process, like he said, is just take my time and just shoot the right ones when I get them, and it's going to fall at some point.
Timo, for you, just the extended minutes that you've been able to get over the past number of games, how has it helped you adjust well to the college level?
It takes time. I'm happy for those minutes. Obviously, as Shell said, we're kind of banged up now. We got some injuries, but had to step up. I hope I'm doing a good job, and we'll just have to wait for the other guys to get back, and we keep stacking good days and getting the wins.
Shelton, some games this year you seem to hesitate sometimes on offense early in the game as far as being aggressive. Is it about you being like, when you switch it up, are you aware of it, or is it about finding your groove during the game?
I think sometimes I just think too much. I'm trying to be a perfectionist. I just got to be a basketball player. I got to realize I'm going to make mistakes, and I just got to live with them. So just learning from those and just making the right play for myself and my teammates. I'm going to focus on.
Timo, what was kind of the key for you there in the second half in particular? What were you seeing out there with spacing and just in general?
I don't think it was really a tactical side, basketball side. It was just our energy. Our attitude coming to the game was really bad, and I think we switched that coming into the second half. We improved defensively, made the right plays, made the simple plays in offense, hit open shots, and that's what got us going.
How would you maybe characterize, how would you explain how this has gone for you, these 10 games fitting in, as you touched on a little bit earlier?
At the start it might have been a little hard, but the guys are really helping me. The coaching staff is great, people around the club and around the school, so they're making it a lot easier for me, and I think it's going good so far.
Sheldon, 3 straight wins, 2 of which have been against Power 5 opponents. Just what do you think is clicking right now for this team?
We have a lot of good chemistry. No one's too high, no one's too low. We have a level head going to every game. We're not cocky or anything. We know we have to come in, play our brand of basketball, play to our standard, and it's going to work out for us. So.
And then you mentioned just like this, an initial lack of urgency, a lack of energy when the game first started. Is there anything, whether it was an early tip-off or just some attribute that you can,
Our first 12 o'clock game on a Saturday, banged up, a lot going through our mind, but we just know we had to come in and had an immediate impact. But we didn't have that in the first half. The second half, we came back and showed who we really were.
Sheldon, what was Jay's message to you guys at halftime?
It was very clear that he was mad and he wanted us to play harder. It was very quick, straight to the point, and just play hard. They were battling. 15 was just getting every board he wanted. So we had to go out there with a better fight and not get punked, and that's what we did.
Have you seen Jay's message today at halftime different than the other games you've had? Was this one different?
I think it has to be the way we were playing that first half. He let us know that we were messing around and not playing to our standard, and I think in the second half we really flipped that switch.
Any players step up and say anything at halftime?
We were all on each other about rebounding, about just playing harder. We knew what we were messing up at, and so we just fixed it in the second half.
Timo, do you feel like the coaching staff trusts you to put you in more playmaking situations instead of just being in the corner ready to shoot the 3?
I trust myself. I think they trust me. It's just that my role is shooting. I'm one of the best shooters in the team. We have guys for playmaking who are really good at what they do, and I hope I can get my points from their playmaking abilities.
Thank you. Timo, speaking of playmaking, Trey with a career high 11 assists, some of those came to you, of course. Just how nice is that for you as a shooter to have a playmaker who can penetrate and find you in the corners and such?
It's basically from what I live. Coming into a new team, basically the whole roster is new, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I think it's important to find the chemistry, to find the guys who will find you, and then coming back, as you said, hard closeouts, I have to find them again, so yeah.
Gosh, I tell you, Miami, we don't got any Southern Miss reporters in here, do we? Miami's got a good team. I was, of course, we play Ole Miss on Saturday, this coming up Saturday, And so, of course, Coach Beard at Ole Miss and I are good friends, and Coach Adams at Ole Miss, one of their assistant coaches, his son is on our staff. So we're close to them. So of course have a great interest. But the real interest, of course, was being able to kind of get a heads up on Miami. And I knew, of course, after watching them Miami play against Ole Miss and how they were impressive and well coached. Gosh, it's hard to. Of course, y'all are down there close. I'm certain to the floor. Physicality, big and strong. Very good team, well coached, disciplined. I was very impressed, and I think, of course, I was proud of our team. We battled for a while. We wanted to, chop that thing up and try to get it down to the end, and we uncharacteristically turned. And they had a lot to do with it, of course. Turned the basketball over there in the second half. I didn't think we did a great job of showing a lot of patience against their zone. Their zone bothered us a little bit, but again, it's easier said than done because of their physicality. But they did I thought a great job of making some adjustment. We were hurting them early when they went zone early. We got off to a great start, and of course they switched to the zone early. We hurt them inside in the belly of the zone early. They did a great job of counter adjusting to that. And I think it took us a little while after that, after we to adjust ourselves and execute better against their zone. So my hats off, of course, to Miami. Like I said, very impressed with their team. I think they've got a really good chance of making a good run in the NCAA. I do. That's an NCAA tournament team. I think they're going to win a few rounds for sure. Maybe with a little luck. Of course, you got to have some luck in that deal. Maybe even get a little deeper. They got great guard play, real physical, man. Jefferson and Donaldson, very impressive out there. Of course, Trudeau's a man among boys. But by the same token, I was proud of our team. I thought they gave a great account of themselves. I thought they battled again. I thought the final. I don't know if the final score was, to me, was indicative of necessarily of how competitive the game actually was. And unfortunately, that happens sometimes as the game kind of gets toward the end. But we were able to get all of our guys in there and give them a chance to play some. I thought that was significant. We're coming off, we've been on the road for 5 or 6 days, Jack, whatever it seems like. I'm ready to go home. I know our guys are. I'm tired. And but anyway, like I said, my hat's off. Congratulations to Coach Lucas in Miami, and proud of the effort of our team for a while. Not proud of the result, but I was proud of the way our guys fought and battled out there.
Coach,
You battled them to a tie in the first half. Seemed like your zone was working. And then I was wondering your thoughts on the freshman Malovec. He made 4 3-pointers.
Yes, man, those guys. I mentioned our assistant coaches. I said, man, we've got to get over to Eastern Europe and find some of those cats, man. They are big. Can shoot it. And they're listed as freshmen. That's the oldest looking freshman I've ever seen. They don't have any guys like that in Mississippi, I can tell you that. But no, and I say that with great, respect. And man, those guys can shoot it. He busted that. That young man, his ability to do what he did hurt us in their zone, so it forced us out of something that was effective for us. So yeah, and really, really outstanding. Good player.
I apologize. Was there something you saw on film that either you saw and then maybe a little bit surprised with when actual game happened, or?
Not necessarily surprised. I think they were exactly. We felt like they're. I'll be honest with you. I think they're very balanced. They can be. They can score on the inside. And again, Trudeau is such a hard matchup. We were just. Our thought was to try to change defenses. Try to keep them out of rhythm. And then of course against their guards are so big and strong. They're hard to keep in front of. They're very balanced. Of course, then they bring the kids in off the bench that can really shoot it. So, it was kind of a pick your poison type deal. So we were just again trying to chop the game up, muddy it up, so to speak, and we did a good job of it for a while. It just eventually, when those things happen, you have to kind of keep that thing within. You either have to be in the lead or you got to keep it within 4 or 6 points, and there was a one run there in the second half. I can't remember exactly, Jack, about when that was, and they went on a spurt where we turned it over 2 or 3 times in a row, and they got live turnovers where they turned it and quickly turned it into baskets. That's another thing they do. They really are quick, get it down the floor quick, and they'll make you pay for mistakes.
Coach, what were some of those specific counter adjustments that Miami made defensively at halftime?
Well, one of the things that they did, we were hurting them in. I thought we did a good job early on executing man-to-man offense against their man-to-man, and they switched. Of course, we jumped out to the lead. They quickly switched to a zone. We hurt them in the belly of the zone. We felt like that was an area that we could operate in, and then they took that away by putting a player in there. We call that choking the zone. They put a player there. So they took away what we were doing, and we needed to then begin to attack down in the short corner, and it took us, and when we did, we were actually able to get some good looks at it. But we had too many possessions where we turned the turned the basketball over, and what that zone did is it put the basketball sometimes in our non-playmakers' hands and forced them to go make some plays or make decisions with the ball, and that didn't work out for us as well tonight. But again, they had a lot to do with that.
Coach, that first half, obviously, it was a tight game. You mentioned that you guys were executing against the zone in that first half. What was the message at halftime? And also, do you think today's loss was about lacking execution or effort?
I don't think it was effort. Of course, I deal with lack of execution. Again, a head coach is responsible for execution. Coach Lucas is responsible for execution for Miami. I take full responsibility. So the effort part again I think was good. At halftime, we talked about, guys, you're 20 minutes away from shocking some people in the country. Nobody expected Southern Miss to come in here and win. So you got a 20-minute game. Do what you did the first half, but we're going to have to play better. We even talked in the first half. We felt like we even turned it over too many times in the first half, just being a little bit careless with the ball. So more patience. We talked about some of the things we wanted to do offensively against the zone, and I didn't think we shot the basketball well. A couple of I thought they did a good job of taking away two guys that have really had good years so far in Tyleek Weeks and Isaac Tavares. They made things really tough on them, and so I've got to do a better job scheme-wise and trying to stay ahead of the next coach as far as doing that. But halftime was very positive. Guys, really upbeat. Hey man, we got a chance to win this thing. Of course, you got to give Miami credit. They came out in the second half and established themselves as they wanted to win. But they got a really good, like I said, I've said it 5 or 6 times, they got a really good team.